Hi.
The bad hair.
Look at that hair.
Yes.
Is it warmed up? Or you still have your sweater on? What the
The
hell?
whole evening. It was nicer today, but
Mm-hmm.
still not great. But hey, new book that you would love.
Mr. Leverman.
Leverman. Have you heard about Bernardine Evaristo?
No, I'm writing it down. Can you write it up again?
Yeah, because her
Bernardine.
last book, she won the Booker. She won like all the major awards in the UK for
Okay.
Girl, Woman, Other. I think that was the
Uh,
first book, and this
that
is
that sounds familiar.
yeah. And then I think this is Mr. Loverman is just her second one, I think.
Okay.
And it's just fabulous. It's about this old Afro-Caribbean man from, I think, originally Antigua, but he's in his 70s. He's lived in the UK for like 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's been married to his wife for like 50 years plus. He's a bit of a chauvinist, very flash, but he's never been unfaithful to her with another woman or anything. But he has basically been with his oldest friend, Morris, since he was 14.
Ah,
So he's basically closet old
right.
gay
Right.
black macho man in London who's never been able to come out, and he's got like two daughters, and like he's a really frustrating character, but kind of kind of lovable too.
Right. Right.
So he's going through, I'm about halfway through, so he's going through this massive crisis where at the age of 74 he thinks he's willing to like divorce his wife and
Mm-hmm.
go live with Morris, although he doesn't want to come out. He just wants to like go live with Morris.
Right.
And Morris is getting really frustrated with him because Morris has wanted them to come out for the last like 30 years.
Right.
So it's very much,
so Morris is out to his family, or
no, Morris is not out to his family, except that his wife came home like 30 years previously and found him and Barry basically practicing various techniques from the Kama Sutra. So she left, she walked out, but she never told Barry's wife why. So basically, Maurice has been divorced and single for like 30 years, waiting for Barry to pluck
right.
up the courage to
Right.
leave his
Right.
wife.
Right.
But it's a great depiction because his wife's like got all these old friends from Antigua that they all go to like church together on Sundays,
Mm-hmm.
and they come back, and it's the whole Caribbean thing of like feeding the masses. But
Right.
she's getting increasingly frustrated with him because basically for 30 years she believes he's having an affair with
Right.
some other woman. She's never been able to catch him.
Oh, and she doesn't know it's the man.
She doesn't know it's Maurice, or Morris,
Ah.
but it's it's really good. It's very clever, but also very well written. And
Okay.
he's a real character as well, because he's like self-educated. He keeps going to adult education classes and loves Shakespeare, and keeps quoting
Right.
Freud
Right.
and Shakespeare.
Right. Well, I was reading Britt Bennett, I think is how you pronounce her name, Bennett. And she wrote a book, maybe kind of like this, like her well-known book. And then I just read the earlier one. The well-known book is called The Vanishing Half. And it's about twin, I can't remember if they're twin sisters or just sisters that are born. It's like, Black in the South in Mississippi, and they're born to parents, one of whom is, has some white heritage. And so one of the sisters can pass for white and the other one is Black.
Right.
And so the sister,
and they're, sorry, Vanishing.
It's called The Vanishing Half.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so when they're very close as sisters, and then in, after high school, one of them basically goes off and starts passing for white, just leaves, leaves her family without a trace. And then the one who can't pass as white is left in this kind of small rural hometown that they'd always imagined like getting out of Dodge or whatever, right? Together. And then one of them goes off. So she ends up staying in this small town and taking care of her mother and having a child and so on. But then kind of just like the theme is like, what do you think will make you happy and what actually does make you happy, right? And so you kind of follow these two lives. And one of the sweetest parts about it is that the daughter who stays in the small town has a child, I think at a young age, like she's a teenage mother. And her daughter goes off to college and has a relationship with a trans person, a trans man. And it's just like in the book as a character, like it's not any big theme or anything. It's just like, that's who the character is that person. And I just felt so grateful to see like such a normalized view of like, oh, now she's dating a trans person. I mean, there's a little bit around like that trans partners struggle with trying to transition, and it takes place in like the 60s and 70s, 80s, I guess.
Right.
So, you get some of that, but it's not like a big hairy deal. It's just like presented there.
I'm sure already. I should read that.
Yeah. So then I read one of her earlier ones, which wasn't quite as good, but I still really enjoyed. So it's always nice to find a new author. And those characters I'm reading, do you know James McBride? He wrote a book called The Color of Water, which he's a Black writer as well, and basically about being raised by a white mother in the 70s. So he kind of came to national acclaim for that book, but somebody gave me for my birthday his new novel, which is called Deacon King Kong.
Speaking King Kong?
Deacon, like a deacon in a church.
Oh, Deacon King Kong.
Deacon King Kong. And it's probably takes place in the 70s, and it's about an old, just when you were describing that character from Girl, Woman, Other what's the name of the book Girl, Woman, Other is the other one?
Yeah, Mr. Loverman.
Mr. Loverman.
Hey, Dana. Hi.
Kind of just that similar, like these characters come so alive, like just every sentence is just like dripping with sights and smells and funny things. And it's really good. It takes place in Brooklyn, I guess, or Queens, somewhere in New York City, but it's this whole community of people who've like migrated up from South Carolina. So it's like these southern Black community, southern Black rural folks that are now like living in the housing projects and drinking and going to church, and all the characters that are there. It's really wonderful. So you're still reading as much, you're keeping up the pace, huh?
Not as much, no. I kind of slowed down with distractions from other things, but I got back into it, that weird book Mother for Dinner, and then and then this one. Mother for Dinner I think you would like too, because it's kind of a skit on everyone's desperation for their own unique identity in at least in America. I mean, everywhere really. And what it means to belong to a tribe,
right?
And how everybody is so desperate to keep their tribe.
Yep.
But
and so firm on their identity.
And so this is, the fact that they're Can-Ams, which I don't know, Dana, if you were here when I was last describing the book, it's about a group of people who are cannibal American. No, I haven't heard of that.
I don't know if I was here when you were discussing that.
Oh,
book.
Really? Oh, it's
maybe it was while I was on vacation.
Yeah. It's by this guy, Shalom. I can't remember who's written it now, but it's just really funny. It's about a family who, new book, Cannibal Mother. Oh, came up straight away. Um, Mother for Dinner, Shalom Oslander.
Hmm.
And it's like kind of very bad taste, but it is very funny. So basically they have this big family, like with 12 kids, because the mother wants to have all boys so that they can obviously keep their group going, but of course one of the boys turns out to be gay, and the twins want to be are trans, so she basically doesn't talk to the three of them. And then all the others, she's just determined that they keep up their identity as Cannibal American. But it's very, very funny. It's because they're obviously not the stereotype of cannibals. They only eat somebody when they've died. But it is very funny. But it's basically about,
It still is so, I don't know what makes me so like grossed out at that.
I know, but it's kind of very funny because it's really about like what it means to be assimilated and not assimilated, and our desperation to be belonging.
Yeah, belonging. Right.
Yeah,
And I think some of that, I mean, some of the identity politics here is like, we don't only want to belong to our tribe, but we want to be like, it needs to be like small and special and different than everybody else. And, there's something around that as well.
Yeah. And it's
like it's us against the world kind of thing, like our tribe.
Exactly. And they feel very betrayed by like famous Americans who won't come out and admit that they're can American. So Jack Nicholson and Ronald Reagan. It has this like really funny kind of, bad taste, but actually very good. Yeah, anyway.
Well, I have a new Netflix series that I've been binging that maybe is old news for everybody, but it's called Feel Good. And it's by a Canadian comic named Mae Martin. And it's kind of like one of those shows where she plays herself, right? Or like a fictional version of herself. She's
yeah.
That one. So she like plays like a young gay comedian who's living in London.
Yeah.
And I just found it and watched the first season, and then the second season just came out. So I was like, it's really good. I mean, it's one of those that's like, ha ha ha, oh my God. Like it can be so heavy and yet funny. To see very damaged people trying to figure out their lives. But the relationship she's in with the young English girl
who
hasn't come out to her friends.
It's lovely. Amelia watched it, and then she started watching season 2 just this week, and so I started watching season 2, and then I better go back to season 1. But it's really like Lisa Kudrow, of course, plays her mother, right?
But when it came up for like suggested for you, I was like, oh, it's because Lisa Kudrow's in a middle-aged woman, and but she plays a pretty minor role, and then she also plays this like very dry character, like she's obviously a terrible mother. And basically doesn't give a shit that she's a terrible mother, right? Like she's just
exactly. Have you watched Mayor of Easttown?
No, because for us it's on HBO. So right. I mean, maybe at some point if I ever get through my Netflix watch list, I would actually watch something on. Usually it's like, oh, I'm at somebody's house. So then I'll watch something. That's how I started watching that one on the AIDS epidemic. The one from the 80s, that you recommended.
Yeah.
That one was on the HBO.
Right. It's a sin.
It's a sin, right? But I don't know. I didn't get through it all.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, you should go back to it. You didn't finish it.
I didn't. Yeah, we started watching other stuff. I don't know. We got too excited
You should
with
go back
having
to it.
all the things.
Yeah.
My friends Doug and Sarah that I was staying in San Francisco had like every single TV thing that you could possibly ever want. And so most nights I just like sat there for an hour trying to figure out what I was going to watch and then went to bed.
That's so true.
And then by the time I like, it was like, oh, we should watch a movie or start the series or like, and then it was, Doug, the husband, he'd seen everything and he wanted to watch stuff with us. And then, Sarah would fall asleep. And so it was just like one of those situations where it was like, we can't get her anything. Well, and they hadn't seen Bridgerton. So they started watching Bridgerton and then that kind of took over our lives. But
Good.
and Dairy Girls. We also watched Dairy Girls again, which was fun.
I wish there was going to be another season of that. I haven't heard anything about that. That was so fun.
There is. They're planning a third season.
Oh, thank goodness. I mean, I'd actually watch it from the beginning because it would just have us rolling in stitches. It was so funny.
Hey, but Laurel, so my dad has some news. So there's a film being shot in Boyle next week, and they're using my parents' shop as one of the scenes. Some of the scenes in it.
That's exciting.
So are they going to get paid for it?
Yeah, my dad is getting paid £200. And they've got to film, and he's not in the slightest bit impressed. He's like, they've got to have finished filming by 9 a.m. So they're going to come in every morning and film from like.
So the shop will not be affected by the filming.
No, absolutely not. The shop is not affected by anything. The shop was not affected by.
We could have a tornado come in, take out the whole town, and the shop would still be open.
The shop was not affected by my wedding. The shop was not going to be affected by COVID. The shop it will not be affected by my father's funeral. He has made it clear.
It's like the shop exists in some alternate realm that that nothing affects whatsoever.
So is the crew going to come in and they're just going to use it as is? They're not going to try to do any props or this or that?
It's called 13th Night, I think, as opposed to like 12th Night.
Ooh, is it based off of Shakespearean something or another?
My father did not have any details about that. Let me see why.
On a kind of a related topic, while you look that up, a friend of mine who's quit her job in development to go be a full-time visual artist, some of her work is like signs and art that she made around the Women's March and reproductive rights and stuff. And she has like cards and stuff on Etsy. And somebody last week approached her and said, "We love your work. We want to buy the rights to 2 of the pieces for the next Spider-Man film.
What?
And we're going to put your art in the character's bedroom."
Oh, that's fabulous.
Wow.
And so bought the rights I don't know if they like exclusive rights or whatever, but paid her like a royalty. And she doesn't know if it'll actually be in like the pan of the bedroom or not, but it's kind of cool to know your artwork's going to be. Yeah. And they found it through Etsy.
That's really exciting.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
So send us the link to her work. We should buy her work before it goes like super famous.
Oh, well, I think she just does like cards and postcards and stuff. She's got a lot of vagina work. Her only other commission, she like draws like these Viva the Vulva, like, these like watercolor vaginas with Viva the Vulva. And she has like pillows and all this like accessories and bags and stuff with Viva the Vulva. And she got commissioned to do one for an advertisement for lube.
Nice. I like it.
Those are her 2 jobs: a lube commission and the Spider-Man film.
That's got to keep you in sandwiches for a while. I mean,
I don't know how much she's
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I just sent you the link to the latest news item on this film, and they're looking for extras. But it says, because this is a low budget feature, we will not be able to pay them, but we will be able to supply cups of coffee and tea and maybe a few biscuits.
That's funny.
Oh, that's such a class quote.
Oh, I can't
Let's
wait to
see.
check this out. I hope we get the opportunity to.
It says our crew are very professional and well versed in managing these types of shoots, which makes you understand that the crew are not very professional. They're actually saying that they're very professional.
Oh my
You
gosh, that
know.
is hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't see her vulvas though.
How do you do that?
I just put her Instagram in the,
Oh, okay, great.
yeah, anyway. So Dana, you've just been out in the wilderness.
I
Yeah.
did. I got back yesterday evening. It was so wonderful. I mean, really, really beautiful. I can't wait to go back. As a matter of fact, as soon as I got home, before I took a shower or unloaded my car, I went inside and I got online to see if there were any other sites that were available for the rest of the season. And they're not.
They're fully booked, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, because I had, right before I came on with you guys, I was late because I had that court hearing for my uncle's conservatorship.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
It's been continued again, but I
Wow.
mean, if I hadn't had to be home today, I would have stayed because our spot was open for another night. It was just so beautiful. I mean,
So you were like tootling around in your kayaks? Is that mostly what you were doing?
that was what our day revolved around.
Mhm.
It really did. Sunrise, how the wind is blowing. It was, yeah, just spent as much time as possible floating. And when we weren't doing that, we were eating or resting. And then
Oh.
floating, and then I had my breakfast every morning, sitting in my kayak with my cup of coffee and my breakfast burrito, just
Uh-huh.
sitting there, floating.
Yep.
It was
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked gorgeous
Very,
and it
very
wasn't too crowded.
It was really surprising. I mean, it was Saturday was a little bit busy. Sunday, Father's Day there were hardly any people there, it seemed. And no, it wasn't that crowded. I was really surprised. I felt like, especially on Sunday afternoon, that we really had the whole place to ourselves. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
giant freaking lake. If you look at it on Google Earth, it's huge.
Hmm.
And to think that you have like this whole, basically we stayed on the east side of the lake. I mean, we could have gone over to the other side. It's an 11-mile paddle if you go all the way around the lake.
Ooh,
Yeah,
so
we
it was
found
just you and Gretchen.
Gretchen and I,
Yeah.
yeah, and then Kate and Craig showed up on Friday and Saturday, which was great.
Oh, they did.
Uh,
I kind of forgot that they were
yeah.
going to join you. That's right.
I'm so glad they did. It was really fun. We had such a good time. We got a little concert by Craig in the evening. That was really nice. Yeah, it was really relaxing. I feel so much better. I mean, I really do feel like I needed to go and just decompress.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I could live there, I would just say, see ya. I did not miss, the second I turned off my phone, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't miss any of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Actually,
that's
I did
so
miss it.
great.
but I didn't miss my device.
Right. Right. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So Laurel, you're going to be going up to, are you going to are you going to do the Living Kindness like there from Pittsburgh, or
yeah,
really?
it's going to be,
What's happening? Hmm.
I'm coming to Portland, right, Dana?
Oh, that's right. You're
Yeah.
gonna have the shows going on the road.
The show is going on the road. I mean, I am planning to work that week, kind of crazily so, but I was kind of like, well, I don't know. I want to kind of save my vacation. You know, we don't get a ton of
Yeah.
vacation, and
Yeah.
you know, I'll be working from 5 a.m. to 2, so I'll be exhausted, but you know, I still will have afternoons and dinner. Like
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
kind of feel how it will work having worked out in California.
Yeah.
So I think that'll work okay. And I'll take the Friday off before the block party. So, well, we have Monday off for July 4th.
Of
So
course,
I'll
yeah.
basically just be working 3 days, 5 to 2, which isn't too bad.
No, and it'll be nice and cool at that point when you're working. It's not like you'll have to be working, you know, in the blazing heat or anything. Then you'll be able to just.
Yeah,
go
you
down to-
guys have gotten hit with the,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Actually, when we made friends with the camp hosts that are at the place where we were, and right before we left, we had some dates in July that we were going to go back for, and Warren, our friend, said there was a fire that started on Sunday on the other side of the freeway, on the other side of Highway 26 to the east, and he said if another one of those happens, just even the smallest fire, they're going to shut everything down.
Hmm.
Really.
So, I mean, it is hot and dry and sad. So hopefully we won't have fire when you're here, because that forces everybody into the house. You know, you
Yeah.
don't really want to go down to the river. You
Yeah.
went down to Selwood before, right? When you came to visit, went down and floated on the river a little bit.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Rosaline did. I mean, we went and had lunch next to the river. We didn't actually get into a floating object, but Rosaline, you guys went out and did
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We went
Yeah.
on the stand-ups on the paddle boards. Yeah.
Mhm.
We have a lot of floating objects now, so we have extras.
Yeah, so I'll actually arrive on the night of your birthday, Dana. I don't think I'll get there early enough to celebrate with you all. I'm flying during 4th of July evening.
What time do you come in?
I think like 9 p.m.
If you're a little bit late, you'll get to see the fireworks when you come in.
Yeah,
They
that's,
usually start around 9:30.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's around 9 anyhow.
That's good. I don't
Okay.
plan on doing a whole lot this year. I plan on being just a human blob.
That's how I like you, Dana.
There's a lot of pressure that goes into being born on the 4th of July. Everybody wants you to always be fucking happy. You've always got
Oh,
to be,
really?
oh, good. What are you doing? Are you not going here? You're going to want to watch the fireworks. And sometimes you're just like, no, I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be like you'd kind of feel like every other celebration was bigger than yours, because everybody, you know, would be like, oh, we're having a 4th of July picnic. We'll just like get a cupcake and that'll be Dana's party. Like that's what I would think would happen.
It was like that when I was younger. I
Mhm.
felt like that.
Yeah.
Up until, I guess, from the point where I was really young, when we came back from Berlin, when I was 2, until maybe 13,
Mhm.
you know, we lived on military bases, so the firework display was unbelievable. So, and my father, of course, told me when I was little that that was all for me.
Oh,
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's lovely.
So it was kind of surprising when I got home and or when I got bigger and I realized it wasn't actually.
yeah. Well, I mean, I still love like 4th of July. And when I was growing up, it was, of course, like something you celebrated every year, like always had a barbecue or a picnic, and everybody drove out with and put their chairs out and watched the fireworks. And then I raised kids overseas and come back here and they're like, you know, that they like think,
Deal.
what's the big deal? That's stupid. We didn't know you were patriotic, mom. And so it's still so like nostalgic for me, but I can never, and then I have like a lot of like, you know, counterculture friends. So like, I haven't really celebrated the 4th of July at all since I've been here.
Yeah, I can understand that, because living overseas and also, you know, just being generally rebellious. I often was kind of like, why is this such a big deal? I'm not a flag waver. I'm just not that kind of person. Like you said, it's a little.
I'm
bit of
like
rebellious.
enthusiastic about any celebration. So I definitely would like have my flag.
Yeah.
You do.
I
Oh,
would definitely be like, yay, flags. Yeah, I would like stand next. Actually, Opie and Kurt, do you remember Kurt and Opie? Rosaline were in town one 4th of July, and I was like, yes, I finally got some people here. So our Indonesian friends with an American husband, and I like made them go down to the 4th of July parade and stand next to, like, we all brought flags and waved them next to the, I mean, I think Opie was kind of into it. Kurt was like, this is
What
weird.
the fuck?
Yeah, like what the fuck.
Yeah, I guess Peter and I kind of, I will say that there's something really kind of devious about wanting to wave an Australian or a British flag during the 4th of July, just why not? I'm gonna poke you a few times. Here you
So
go.
Peter would do that, or you guys
No,
would do
I
that?
would.
Oh, I would usually wave with like a rainbow flag or something else, you
Yeah.
know, that kind of thing.
Peter's really good about it. I mean, honestly, he puts the flag out every 4th of July. He gets every flag holiday. He gets all the Australian flag holidays. We put out the Aussie flag, we put out the US flag. And I say we, it's actually him. He does
Right.
it,
Right.
which is sweet.
I like that too. I like
Yeah.
that. My dad always has a flag out. But... Okay, well, shall we get going?
Mhm.